All right. Thank you so much, Marshall. And hello, everyone. Today is August 6th, 2025. This is the Wednesday CalPADS Q&A. And my name is Matt Clark. I'm a data governance administrator at CSIS supporting CalPADS. And I'll be hosting the Q&A today. Driving documentation for us is Paul Higgins. In terms of announcements, I do have a few for you today. First up is the CalPADS reporting calendar and the amendment window deadline for the end of year submissions, which is this Friday, August 8th, 2025. This is the date by which all LEAs must be certified in all 4 of the end of year submissions. End of year 1 and end of year 2 require only LEA approval, while end of year 3 and end of year 4 require both LEA and SELPA approval for certification. August 8th is the relevant deadline date for differentiated assistance eligibility, and there are additional funding and accountability consequences associated with the August 8th deadline. So it's imperative that LEAs certify the end of year submissions by August 8th. Second announcement here, flash number 309 was released very recently in the last 30 minutes or so, announcing the new CSIS training registration website and the new training registration process. So starting in August 2025, CSIS is transitioning away from the Bridge LMS to a new CSIS training registration website. Beginning today, so on August 6th, 2025, users must register for CSIS live training through the CSIS training registration webpage. And the Bridge LMS will no longer be accessible to users beginning on September 1st, 2025. This change removes the 2-user limit for LEAs for live CalPADS training, removes the cumbersome account creation process, and improves scheduling visibility for LEAs. We're very excited about this announcement and the new training registration process for CSIS Live training. And speaking of training announcements, the Fall 1 training schedule is now live on the CSIS training registration webpage. There will be an email announcement coming out from the CalPADS office shortly with the opening dates for all of the Fall 1 courses for CalPADS. The 25-26 Fall 1 courses will occur throughout September and October, and you can register for Fall 1 courses right now through the new training registration page. No bridge or other login is required, just fill out a short form to register. And that would be it for my announcements today, but we don't have Angela at the Q&A today. So I want to make sure that I cover Angela's customary announcement with the known issues list here. So the fixed issues and active issues lists were updated today on August 6th. And they now show all of the fixes that went into yesterday's deployment. And those fixes will have an August 5th date in the implemented column there. There were quite a few fixes implemented around reports and extracts and around error resolution as well. And that is truly it for my announcements. Sean, Dominic, CDE folks, anything on your end?
No, Matt, got everything covered for us. Thank you.
From our side, the SPED data team had hosted the data quality Q&A, the special office hours a couple of weeks ago, and we were endeavoring to get all of the Q&A questions answered and put into a document. We've done the best we could on that. There were 160 questions. The document is saved in a CDE box site, which I have just dropped into the chat so anybody can access the questions and answers that we were able to get through in the 1.5 hour special office hours, as well as Monday's office hours, which also went about 1 hour and 40 minutes with questions related to data quality.
All right. Thank you, Dominic. All right, let's go ahead and move into the questions now. So our first question is a comment from Sue-Ann that says, bravo on the new training registration site. Thank you, Sue-Ann. We're very excited about this implementation as well. Next, we have a Q1 from Soraya at 301. Hi, team. Hi, Soraya. My apologies. I know I've seen this somewhere, but I can't seem to find it. Can you please confirm which of the home language survey questions that result in an answer other than English equate to a TBD CELA determination? Thank you.
Why can't I see the question? Isn't it all
It
based on
is.
what I heard Matt I was like, it's all, but I was like, I couldn't see the question to know. Which of the home language are special to allow me into other language? Yeah, so 1 through 3. And thanks, Soraya, for putting it in there as I was saying it. Yeah, 1 through 3. The fourth one can, but it's subjective to your LEA specifically.
All right. Thank you, Sean. It looks like Kyron also linked to a YouTube video on the initial LPAC with some relevant guidance as well. So thank you, Kyron and Soraya, for the question. All right, next we have a Q1 from Suan at 303. I've been having an offline discussion about this issue. Is it true that the new rules for no-show students is the start and exit dates must be the same? If so, where is that documented? And then it looks like Kimberly at 306 provided the special education data office hours PowerPoint from September 9th of last academic year, and then the box site link as well. Would anyone like to add on to Kimberly's guidance here?
No, that's a place where it's documented, and that's the rule. It helps out for special ed.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Kimberly, as well. And thank you, Suan, for the question. Next, we have a Q1 from Judy at 303. Will there be a Sunbucks webinar for the 25-26 school year?
I can't answer that, Judy. They may for school fiscal services, but I don't. So far, right now, they don't have one planned. But yeah, they very well may, and if so, we'll gladly share that communication out with everyone as well too. At least put it in what am I drawing up? Like the announcements. I was like the agenda items is what I wanted to say. Sorry, we'll put it in the announcements to let you know that information went out.
All right. Thank you, Sean. And thank you, Judy, for the question there. Next, we have an implicit Q1 from Laura at 306. What does the U mean on the valid code combinations document under the Meets UCCSU Requirements?
It's undetermined.
Yes. And Laura, that is a really great question because I promise you, I think it took me a year to figure that out one time. And I was just like weary. And I forgot where I found the answer besides Gary just telling us.
All right. Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Gary. And thank you as well, Laura, for the question there. Next, we have a Q1 from Shelley at 307. I was finally able to LEA approve today. Congratulations, Shelley. My new interim SELPA director is still waiting for the superintendent's signature on her CALPADS application. When she gets that signature and sends to the CDE, is there any way to expedite her account creation so that she's able to SELPA approve end of year 3 and end of year 4 by Friday?
Don't they have 2? Why is everyone looking at me?
Because I think if we get a ticket on that, it goes up to you guys because you guys
No,
have to.
it does. But I was asking,
Oh.
doesn't everyone have 2?
Oh,
So I was looking for confirmation. But Shelley, yes.
I don't think that everybody has 2. It's just kind of if they have enough people to fill 2 slots, they have 2. Otherwise, it all falls on the shoulders of one person.
Okay, Shelley, can you go ahead and put in, or can you, what's the ticket number, Shelley? Because you said she's already got the application, so she should have a ticket number already. Yeah, I'm not sure either. I thought the SELPAs, and that's what I was looking. I was hoping Dom would chime in, but I don't know if he knows either. I thought the SELPAs had 2 as well, but I'm not fully positive.
Sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
It's okay. Do you know, Dom, by chance?
So when I was at Fresno, we had 2, but it was myself and the SELPA director who never, ever logged in. So it was essentially me. I think there is like I think Paul had said, that there's the availability of 2 accounts, but it's not always the case.
Okay. And so, Shelley, we want to make sure that you at least have 2 accounts at this point, just for backup purposes like this, to where somebody can log in and, get walked through. I see you said she doesn't have you don't have the ticket number. Can I get an email or something that I can look by? And I'll gladly assist. But yes, but we don't want to cut it to the last minute. We'd like to be proactive. And I see the email. Thanks.
Right. Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Shelley. All right, next we have a Q1 from Larnie at 3:08, which is the final question in the Q&A box. Breaking records today at 3:12 on the final question. Please do go ahead and get any questions that you have about, CalPADS reporting, specifically during the end of year and as we arrive closer and closer to the deadline on Friday. Please do get those questions in the Q&A box. But we have a Q1 from Larnie at 3:08. We're ready to submit the state seal of civic engagement. Where can I find the file specifications to use for this submission? And is it just the CalPADS LEA admin that's able to submit to EDCS? If yes, where can I, as an LEA admin, set up my login account at EDCS? Thank you.
We got quiet again. Is that me?
So
Sorry.
it's kind of a 2-pronged question. So one is, where can we find the file specs to use for the state seal of civic engagement submission?
And there's a flash on the EDCS login. And I thought all of that was listed in that flash as well, too. Alex was shaking her head. Sorry, I was working on the other baby's thing where I just lost it. What's her name?
Is it Flash 297?
I don't remember the flash number. I was hoping Paul remembered.
Okay. Part 2 to the question, is it just the CalPADS LEA admin that's able to submit to EDCS? And if yes, where can I, as an LEA admin, set up my login account at EDCS? I do believe this flash speaks to that point.
There you go. Yes.
There's also instructions. I added the link into I guess not the Q&A answers, but the chat. So there's a website of instructions for the state seal and EDCS.
Perfect. Thank you, Nate.
Thank you, Nate. And Shelley, I'm replying back to your question and the question thing. Does she have to click over to see it? Or no? She'll see it.
It'll be in the answered column in the Q&A box, Shelley.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. It looks like
Sorry,
Kareem
that's what I was
also.
multitasking doing.
Oh, all good. All good. It looks like Kareem also put a link to that, those instructions in chat there. So thank you, Kareem and Nate, and thank you, Larnie, for the question there. Sue-Ann, we'll get back to your Q2 once we finish with the Q1s here. We have a Q1 from Kimberly at 3:13. Is the rule for no-show students that the start and exit date must be the same for all students or just for SPED students? Sue-Ann says, thank you for the follow-up. And Rebecca says, see my comments above and images posted in chat for the PowerPoint slides. So I do see those PowerPoint slides posted in chat. But is the PowerPoint slide clear on this one? All right, Dominic, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but even though this was provided in a slide deck specifically for special education students, the guidance is general. So whenever using the exit code of N470, the enrollment exit date should equal the enrollment start date. It does assist with special education reporting, but is not limited to special education students.
I wouldn't be able to correct you because I'm not sure of the answer. I was looking for the FAQ on this myself earlier, and all I could find was how it related to pre-enrollees that no-showed. There was no other guidance on N470 in the FAQs. So essentially all we had to go on was the slides related to special education. So I'm not certain whether that's a blanket or if it only applies to special education students.
If I can jump in,
Please.
I remember this being a question, I don't know, a month ago, who knows now, but one of the Q&As, and I think what we landed on was the guidance is specific. The impetus was the special education students because it impacts the reports for end of year 4. However, although CalPADS allows you to do the day before for general ed, we think it's just best practice to do the same across so that you're not confusing yourself versus on who you're exiting with a no-show the day before or who needs to do an exit the same day as the start date. So although CalPADS allows you to use the day before, we recommend that you just stick with the same guidance for everyone, which is start and end date be the same day for N470s.
All right. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah. Thank you as well, Dominic. And thank you to Kimberly for the question there. Moving on to Eric's Q1 at 3:14. Can you please remind us if the parent needs to submit the PSA form if their child is going to be homeschooled? Is it electronically submitted? Thank you. And it looks like Annalisa provided a link to the CDE's guidance regarding that PFA form. And it looks like it does apply to homeschooling. Let me look for an answer to the electronic question. All right, Eric, the link that Annalisa provided to the CDE webpage for the private school affidavit information does look correct. It looks like there is a PSA filing system that you can use to establish documents electronically as well. So I do believe this is a viable option for you for the PSA info, but this is my interpretation of the private school affidavit information site in the CDE's website. It does look like you can email privateschools@cde.ca.gov in order to ask the owners of that website specifically. Sean, do you have any additional info there?
No, I don't. Thank you, Matt. I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on the other one. I'm sorry. I'm not multitasking very well right now.
All right. It looks like Shelley needs your help. So I think establishing a SELPA to approve end of year 3 and 4 for the LEA is pretty important. So thank you for working on that.
I'm like, I just want them to certify.
All right. Moving on to Audrey's Q1 at 3:15. Not a question, just a comment. Thank you for Flash 309, hot off the presses. I'm excited to finally have access to CSIS trainings outside of Bridge. We are excited for you to have access to CSIS trainings outside of Bridge as well, Audrey, and we look forward to seeing you in the training rooms. All right, next we have a Q1 from Claudia at 3:15. Please tell me what data is used from CalPADS for the direct certification matches.
All right, can someone navigate to the DC page? The CDE DC page? Thank you. So for state level matches, this is the information that is used and it details it out. Our nutrition services department has gladly placed all of this information up there. And it even shows you how frequently the DC matches should be run per statute. It even details steps out for you to be able to run, and then the specific requirements as well too. I'm not sure who asked this question, but if we can put this one in the chat. it'd be a page that I often recommend that you bookmark.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean. And Paul did get that link in chat there for you, Claudia.
Thank you so kindly, Paul.
All right. Shelley has a quick follow-up to her Q1, so I will just read that. She says, thank you so much, Sean. Is it possible to let me know once she has an account? And she did provide her email address there for you.
I will do my best on that one, Shelley. Only because by the time a button may actually get pressed, you all may know who, they may know faster, but yes, I will follow up. It just may not be as timely. I'm sorry. Once I'm done, I'm trying to move on to the next hotspot. But yes, I will.
All right. Next, we have a Q1 from Jennifer at 322. We have a SPED student who graduated with a standard high school diploma, but they were not eligible for special education services. A disability status record was posted stating the student wasn't eligible on November 21st, 2024. Do we need to post another SWIDS exit, another SWDS record exiting them with a no longer eligible, a 30, or leave this as is?
There's no reason to add a subsequent status record if they were exited from special education back in November. That's all that really needs to be done. It's not going to go any further because they have graduated with a diploma.
Perfect. Thank you, Dominic. And thank you, Jennifer, for the question. Don't go off mute for too long, Dominic. Sue Ann's got her typical question, or her usual question for you as her Q2 at 313.
So the SPED data guide, I did finish all of the revisions. They are back in the authoritative hands, so to speak, to review everything. And once that happens, it'll go from there. We'll probably pester Kyron and some other things as well. But right now the revisions are done and off my desk. And beyond that, I'm not sure exactly where they are.
All right. Thank you, Dominic. And thank you, Sue Ann. That does bring us to the end of the questions in the Q&A box. It is only 3:24, so we do have additional time. If you have additional questions, please do get any questions that you have for us in that Q&A box. We are in the week of the final deadline for end of year. So we do want to make sure that we're able to answer any questions that you guys have and provide any support that you may need in the time that we have on the call here. I'm hoping no one has questions because they're busy registering for Fall 1 live training.
Matt, was it Eric's question that you had asked if I had anything to comment on or anything to add?
Eric's question about the PSA form, the public school affidavit info. It's
That
at
was
314 in the answered.
Okay. Eric, regarding PSAs, and no, the students don't the parents don't necessarily have to file a PSA because a student can be attending a homeschool that's already created, or a virtual school is what sometimes you see them listed as. And so for those, you still transfer the student out as attending a T180. That's in the CALPADS FAQs as well too. That guidance for if a student is being homeschooled, you transfer them out using the T180. And so no, it wouldn't be the T160. And since the private school affidavit, it may not be completed. Actually, no, it opened up. Did it open? One of them opened up on August 1st. And I'm not sure if that was private school or which one. And so I don't want to confuse that. Due to when the private school listing is available to be filed that may be after your LEA enrollment date. And so your child welfare and attendance monitor should have some type of processes for your LEA in order to be able to exit the student out correctly. Although a parent may or may not have been able to file a PSA just yet. So you'd want to look towards that internal guidance. But the exit code would be a T180. And I don't know if we have. I'll find that FAQ and put it in the chat for you.
And the PSA information webpage on the CDE website says specifically that the filing system is open throughout the school year beginning on August 1st to accommodate new schools and home schools. So
Thank
those
you.
are the relevant ones for that date.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Oh, we got some new Q1s in the chat here. All right. Q1 from Catherine at 325. Do we know when the new deadline dates will be available for the 25-26 academic year? Ooh, there we go. Paul's showing the 25-26 dates on the CalPADS reporting calendar right there. Oh, those are the holidays, Paul.
Weren't they up a little higher? Oh, no, I guess they're not posted yet.
That's 24-25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well,
Oh,
we've
there's
got the
fall
fall.
one.
We've got the fall 1 and fall 2 dates for 25-26 up on the CalPADS reporting calendar. So fall 1 is always going to open on Census Day, the first Wednesday in October. Lands on October 1st this year. So fall 1 is going to open on Census Day. Fall 2 also opens on Census Day, but you can typically begin reviewing your snapshots, reports, and your errors beginning in about the middle of December, just after the final deadline date for fall 1. It looks like we have the error-free buy date for fall 1 is going to be November 21st with an initial deadline of December 12th and a final deadline of January 23rd. For fall 2, there is a recommended error-free buy date of February 13th and no amendment window, so only a single certification deadline of February 27th, 2026. So that is on the CalPADS reporting calendar on the CDE webpage there. And we will update it for EOY once that information becomes ready for the LEAs. Thank you, Paul and Gary, for your assist there. All right, now we have a Q1 from Lydiette at 326. We have seniors who completed their credits towards the high school diploma in the summer. One completed on July 9th and the other completed on July 30th. Can you provide guidance on action items for these two seniors? What I received from the CalPADS help desk did not match what I found on the FAQ page regarding summer graduates.
There's a flash. Also looking for it now. .303, isn't it? That's the section.
Table 2, Gary?
Yeah, and then there's some text in between table 1 and table 2.
All right. Lydia, I do think this piece of documentation is a definitive source. And so I would analyze Flash 303 for guidance on how to report those two students specifically. All right, next we have a Q1 from Christine at 326. Not sure if I missed this. Do we have any more information on how we are going to report attendance for expanded learning ELOP or ACES programs? I know this would typically be a Paula question.
Isn't the handbook out? Not the handbook, the audit guide.
I'm not aware of the audit guide.
What flash is that? Oh, please. Let me find out. Let's come back to that one. Let's just leave it there and come back to it. And I'm going to work on that one, Christine, for you.
All right. And that was Christine's Q1 at 3:26. Christine, we will get back to you with definitive guidance here. All right. Next, we have a Q1 from Rebecca at 3:27. When do the new validation rules get released for 25-26 that we will see reflected on our data discrepancies?
Well, that is all taken care of in the end of year rollover, which is going to be an ongoing process from July 1st moving forward through September. Anything that does not impact end of year can get changed over before end of year is over. Everything that would affect end of year has to be changed after end of year is over. So the rollover activities are going to ramp up beginning next week with the maintenance build on Tuesday. I do not expect that all changes will be done on that one single day, but I do expect them to be carried out forward into the month of September. I have not seen any documentation on this. This is all anecdotal based on our prior year experiences.
But valuable nonetheless, Paul. And thank you for helping out there. Thank you for the question, Rebecca. Next, we have a Q1 from.
Sorry. If you want to go back up
Back to
Christine's-
Christine.
Yeah, flash 305. All the way down to the bottom. Gary.
Oh, it's Paul this time.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yep, it's a lengthy one. I'm sorry, Paul. Right there. So for Christine, for all updates for attendance recovery and ELOP, those are going to be on the CDE websites for all their documentation that is being posted. And so, yep. And one more line. Oh, no, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, because the other one's just their email. If you have different questions for them that aren't located within the documentation. And thank you, Marshall, for placing Flash 305 in the chat.
All right. Thank you, Sean. Flash 305, scroll all the way to the bottom.
Yes.
All right. Now we have a Q1 from Carla at 3:27. Hello. Hi, Carla. I wanted to reach out to confirm exit dates for a couple of special education students and which date to use. We've had several student records requested over the summer. What would be the best exit date to use in SACE? Would it be the last day of school, July 1st, or the first day of school? Or is using the date of the request okay? I want to make sure our exit dates match up between systems.
Eugenie is correct, but transfers like that aren't reported to CalPADS, so it's going to be a local decision. I always recommended the last day the student attended or the last day of school, using that date, like you said, to keep the dates aligned between the systems, but there's no validation or anything like that. There's no data submitted as a part of releasing a SACE record to another LEA.
Perfect. Thank you, Dominic. As well as Eugenie and Carla for the question. All right. Next, we have a link to the PSA info from Brian there, but it is followed by an oops. So I don't know if we have the complete link in the Q&A box there. All right. Next, we have a Q1 from Suzanne at 3:28. In July, we submitted a charter reporting status change form for 25-26, but we don't have the option to add enrollments under the new CDS codes in CalPADS. How and when does that get updated?
That is part of the rollover process. Had we changed all the CDS codes prior to this, end of year would have been a tragic nightmare for everyone. So you can expect all of Opus CDS data to be ported in. And again, I don't have an exact date. I know previous it's been from the maintenance build immediately after end of year up to and through September. So I would expect that the CDS codes would be an early change because that's just going to be changing identities and it's going to be necessary to get LEAs to get their enrollments in. So I would anticipate that to be early on the checklist.
All right. Thank you, Paul. All right. And we have only Q2s left now. So I'll scroll up to Sue-Ann's Q2 at 325, which is stated as a comment. Since there seems to be a variety of answers to the no-show exit dates, it would be helpful to get some solid directions, not just for SPED students. Noted, Sue-Ann. Thank you. I do think that that guidance is needed there. Next, we have a Q2 from Suzanne at
Matt,
3.
can I answer that one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Sue-Ann, per AB 2815, that's actually the process for every LEA to be able to create one per your CWA supervisor. That's written in statute. And so each LEA should be looking to their CWA supervisor for that codified practice for no-showing students. It's also been listed, and it's a very, I often think that people find this hidden in the CALPADS FAQs. I always seem to find it with ease, but it is there. It lists several different different scenarios. There's also a question for no-show students and that are matriculating. And so all of that information, it is I know there's an older flash that Kyron has attached to the roadmap, but those FAQs are readily there and available. So
Doesn't get more definitive than education policy.
So the guidance does exist, and I think someone's dropped. Paul, are you dropping it in the chat? If not, I will. Not a problem. It's under exiting students. That whole section is probably fruitful for a lot of people to be able to review. It even talks about the online virtual schools and transferring the student with the T180.
And Paul was able to get that in chat. Thank you, Paul.
Yay. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Sean. All right, next we have Q2 from Suzanne at 337 here. So should I wait to post my enrollments?
Yes, because there's no way for you to be able to enroll the
I was gonna
student.
say
Right.
she's the
So
one that's the rollover, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the follow-up to our Q1. They submitted the charter reporting status change form in 25-26, but they can't enroll students with their new CDS code now. So the answer is yes, because you're somewhat forced to wait until the rollover takes place to post your enrollments. You won't be able to post them in CalPads until the rollover occurs. And that brings us to the end of the questions. In the Q&A box, we did get a question in chat that says, Gary, any tomatoes this year? I don't know if we want to answer that one, Gary.
I did plant some cherry tomatoes and Roma tomatoes, and I've been making my own tomato sauce with them because I have so many. I can't eat all of them. And it's turned out pretty good because I planted basil and oregano and rosemary as well.
Plant in the marinara garden.
Yep.
All right. Well, I did my best to buy some time for more questions to come into chat here, but looks like just folks wanting to join you and enjoying some tomatoes from Gary's garden.
Can you click done?
Me?
Yeah. I tried, but it wouldn't let me.
Click done on.
I'm still saying like Sue-Ann's question.
Oh, I'm showing no questions in open 24 and
Oh,
answer.
okay. It's just me then.
Although she has a comment on the chat box about what the actual dates to use. So I think it boils down to what benefits you with using the end date before the start date versus matching it with the enrollment start and end dates. What's the benefit between those two you know, end dates that you plan to use? So is there anything that helps out with using the enrollment end date before the start date? I mean, yeah.
That's going to be like a student by student scenario. Just in case, the student was picked up by another LEA, then that end date would then, reverse back to the last date of enrollment with you. But again, that's where your codified practice for your LEA would best come in, and it should be detailed out there for you. So therefore, you can review all of those scenarios and know exactly how to be able to record each student's information. Did we lose Matt?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I was like, why'd your picture go away?
Oh no.
Again, like I said, it's just me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just would there be a rule that you just use the same enrollment start and end dates? Because that would benefit more than just putting, having the decision of changing it to,
If they're truant, though, they would need to actually record that, though. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be student by student specific.
okay.
All right. I'm still seeing no questions coming in chat. We've had a couple discussions. I think it's probably safe to say they're not trickling in any longer. So I think we can go ahead and call it here and give you guys about 16 minutes of your afternoons back. So thank you everyone for attending the CalPADS Q&A. Good luck on meeting the Friday deadline, and I hope to see you in a live training room in September and October.